Hello again, everyone. This is English Conversation 1, and we're using the textbook A Step Forward in Conversation, Book 1. We've been notified by the university that the remainder of this semester will be online. That means we will continue with videos and worksheets. We also have to do a midterm test and a final test. I'm not sure how we're going to arrange the final test yet, but I guess the midterm test will be online, and I'll give you some more detail about that next week. But for now, we're going to move on to Unit 5. Unit 5 is called Opinions and Beliefs. We're going to see in this unit a little bit of describing people and places. We're also going to look at yes/no questions and interrogative statements. An interrogative statement is another word for information question, or sometimes we call them WH questions. In the warm-up, we see two people. Again, they're having a short conversation. The lady asks, what does he look like? And the guy answers, he's tall and wears glasses. Now, we might think that's not much of a description. But when we ask, what does someone look like, it's almost impossible to give all the details. For example, if I was going to describe my friend and I said, she's a little short, she has long, straight, black hair, she has dark brown eyes, and she's kind of thin. Could you pick her out of a crowd? No, I don't think so. That describes most Korean girls. So here we just see he's tall and wears glasses. So that would be two features that could make him stand out, and I might be able to find him in a crowd. Then she asks, what's he like? What's he like? That refers to his personality. So he answers, I think he's selfish and bad-tempered. What does that mean? He's selfish. Somebody who's selfish, we've seen this word before, somebody who only thinks about themselves. So if I'm selfish, it's kind of like me, 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 me. I don't think about other people or other people's feelings. Bad-tempered means he gets angry easily. Let's look at the first conversation. Here, Manuel and Jinu, they're talking about Jinu's job.
Track 13. What's your job like? It's not bad. The pay is good, and there are a lot of chances to travel. But I have to do a lot of overtime. What's your boss like? She's easy to work with, and I think she trusts me. But she always worries about money.
Okay, so this is Jinu's opinion about his job. What's your job like? It's not bad. In other words, it's not great, but it's not terrible. It's okay. The pay is good, and there are lots of chances to travel. Some people might think, wow, that's a good job. But in Jinu's opinion, there could be better jobs. What's the problem with this job? He says, but I have to do a lot of overtime. Overtime means working past his normal working hours. So if your work time is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., but you have to work until 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. or even 8 p.m., that would be considered overtime. Now, some people don't mind overtime as long as they get paid for it. But most people in especially management positions, they are not paid per hour. They're paid usually by the month. So if they work 5 hours today, that's fine. If they work 8 hours another day, that's fine. Most people generally do not like overtime, especially if they don't get extra money for it. Then Manuel asks about Jinu's boss. What's your boss like? She's easy to work with. In other words, she's easy to get along with. I think she trusts me. In other words, if she asks me to do something, she will leave me alone and let me do it. She's not checking on me all the time. But nobody's perfect. She always worries about money. I'm guessing money in this case means company money. So she's worried that the company is not doing well. Okay, as we did before, we'll take a quick look at the grammar. Here we see the structure for the different types of questions. There are two types of questions. One type, yes-no questions. So the answer is yes or no. And questions with interrogative words. An interrogative statement is a question. Interrogative statement is the technical word for a question. So here we have two types of interrogative statements. Yes, no, and I will call them information questions. Yes, no questions first. Yes, no questions, basically we have two types. One uses the verb to be plus the subject. Am, verb to be, I, the subject, and then what information we want. So, am I late? This refers to the information. Are, verb to be. Are you, subject. A student. Is, verb to be. He is the subject. The information, your friend. Is he your friend? Okay, so those are yes-no questions with the verb to be at the beginning of the question. Then we have do questions. You notice do or does. Sometimes we have to change do to the does format. Plus subject, plus verb, plus some information. Do you subject, verb, like, information, soccer. Do you like soccer? In the second example, we see does. Does, subject, she, verb, drink, information, coffee. Does she drink coffee? So, when do you use do and when do you use does? Do I? Do you? Do we? Do they? Does she? Does he? Does it? Okay, and the second kind of questions, information questions, we sometimes call them WH questions. We have to be careful here because there's one question that is not WH, and it's the only one that's not WH. WH questions: who, what, when, where, why, and how. Obviously, how is not WH. It's HOW, but we include it with WH questions. So we have the WH word plus the verb to be plus the subject plus the information. Where, WH, am, verb to be, I. We don't need any extra information. Where am I? Why? Why, are, verb to be, subject, you, information. Happy today. In this case, we need information. Why are you? Why are you makes no sense. Where are you? In this example, where are you? Where is he? Where are they? Where is it? Okay, then there's no information. How is your puppy? How, verb to be, is subject, your information, puppy. Now here we see a WH plus do or does plus a subject plus a verb plus some information. Do or does usually is a yes/no question. But if we add a WH word at the beginning, then it is no longer a yes/no question. So if I ask, do you get up? That's a yes/no question. But when do you get up? Now it's information. So WH, when, do, subject, get up. Why does she like coffee? WH, do, she, the subject, like, the verb, what? Coffee. Why does she like coffee? Now, some questions sometimes people ask us, why do you like coffee? Why do you like soju? Well, I don't know. And I might be tempted to say, 그냥, just because. There's no real reason. At the end of the homework worksheet this week, I've added a page to help you with the formation of yes, no, and WH questions. I'll show you that a little bit later. Let's go back to the expressions. In my opinion, so this unit is about beliefs. Beliefs. What do I believe? in my opinion, social distancing is a good way to help prevent the spread of COVID-19 virus. In my opinion, I think. Second expression, what do you think? I could ask you, what do you think about social distancing? What do you think about the government's approach to the COVID-19 virus? I agree. I disagree. What do you think about blah, 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 blah? I agree with you. I disagree with you. I guess that you're right. I guess that some of the things they did were good. Other things may be excessive. I think that. I believe in. What do you believe in? That's right. That's wrong. That's right. I'm agreeing with something you said. That's wrong. I'm disagreeing with something you said. Yes, of course. I'm agreeing with you. I'm sure that if you were in the situation, you would do something. I have no doubt that. I believe that. I bet that. Somebody told me social distancing is a waste of time. I bet that if you had the virus, you would think differently. I'm afraid that's not true. I'm disagreeing with you. What do they believe in? Here again, we have pictures. We have to write a caption. Remember, there is not one only caption. This is very flexible. It depends on what you are thinking. The first question, she believes in the Loch Ness Monster. Do you believe in the Loch Ness Monster? Some people do. Some people believe the earth is flat. She believes in the Loch Ness Monster. In case you don't know, the Loch Ness Monster, Loch is a word for lake, and it's Lake Ness Monster. What about number 2? Oh, Santa Claus. Everybody believes in Santa Claus. Because we're saying believe, you might say, she's giving Santa Claus milk and cookies. Yes, she may be, but we have to use the expression believe. She believes in Santa Claus. Do you believe in Santa Claus? Number 3, it's ghost. Oh, she's afraid. Her hair is standing straight up. She believes in ghosts. What about number 4? A UFO? I guess an alien? Do you believe in aliens? He believes in aliens. I believe in aliens. I watched a movie once called E.T. E.T. was an alien. Who is this, number 5? Dracula. He believes in vampires. Okay, here again is some pair work. Again, too bad we can't do the pair work. Of course, you should practice. You should try to make a dialogue. At the beginning, I've got to arrange my camera a little better. A says, "What's your job like?" "It's not bad. The pay is good, and there are a lot of chances to travel. But I have to work overtime." "What's your boss like?" "She's easy to work with, and I think she trusts me. But she always worries about money." So we've seen this conversation before. I could ask you, "What's your major like?" And you say, "Oh, I love it. It's very interesting. I get to solve lots of problems, but some problems are a little difficult." "What's your professor like?" "He's very nice. He's easy to get along with, and he thinks students are very smart. But he always gives us difficult questions." Language builder at the bottom. "What kind of movies do you like?" "I like science fiction movies. I like romantic movies. I like comedies." "What's your home like?" Again, be careful. What's your home like? What's he like? We don't want to give long, detailed answers. "Can you describe your home?" Most people will say, "Oh, it's nice. It has 5 bedrooms, a kitchen, 3 bathrooms, and a laundry room." And then we're going to say, "Huh, my apartment is a 1-room apartment or a studio apartment." "What do you think of big cities like Tokyo?" We don't have to go to Tokyo to see a big city. I think Daegu is a big city. I don't like big cities. They're too noisy and there's too much traffic. There may be a lot of good things in a big city, but most people think about negative things. What does your best friend look like? Again, we don't give a lot of detail. Let's look at the practice at the bottom. What kind of shows do you like? I like documentaries. Documentaries are shows that give us information about some topic. What's your hometown like? It's very small and has very few shops. People from Daegu say, "Oh, Gumi." What do you look like? I'm tall and have long brown hair. If we're describing somebody, we usually give some height description first. So he's tall, or he's short, or he's medium height, he's average height. Hair descriptions. We usually use length first, followed by um, curliness or straightness, and finally color. So, for example, have long, straight brown hair, short, curly black hair. And most people will give the description in the same order. Let's listen to David and Sunny. They're talking about Sunny's English class.
Track 14. What do you think of your English lessons?
I like them a lot, but I'd like to talk about more serious topics.
What do you mean?
I'd like to talk about things like global warming, third world problems, and education.
But those topics are very difficult.
I know they're difficult, but they're more interesting than topics like windsurfing or buying a house. They're more important too.
Do you agree with her? I'm sure we all agree that those topics are more important. In lots of English classes, students would like to talk about more serious topics. But even people who are not studying a language often have trouble talking about things like global warming. Many people disagree about global warming. Many people in my hometown maybe don't believe in global warming. This winter, we had almost 6 meters of snow over the period of the winter. It was very cold. So when you tell people about global warming, they're going to just shake their head and say there's no such thing. But if you live here in Korea, this winter has been fairly warm. Gumi had snow, I remember maybe just one day, and it lasted for about 5 to 10 seconds. The snow didn't even touch the ground. So I could definitely believe in global warming. Third world problems, most people have no idea about third world problems. Here in Korea, we don't consider ourselves third world. We're very developed. We have problems, but not the same problems as somebody from a third world country has. And education, everybody has an opinion about education. Some people think, I often hear, America has the greatest education system in the world. But a lot of scholars say that's simply not true. What makes an education system great? Different scholars have different opinions. So those topics are very difficult, not for English students, but for anybody. Are they more interesting than topics like windsurfing or buying a house? Well, if I like windsurfing, I like playing WoW. That's a very interesting topic. I would much rather talk about WoW, World of Warcraft, than global warming. If you're buying a house, then that could be a very important topic for you. If you're not interested in buying a house, then this topic is not important. Talking about SF and horror stories. SF. In Western countries, we don't use the term SF. We use either the full word, science fiction, or sci-fi. most Western people will have no idea what you're talking about if you say, I like SF movies. Do you believe in UFOs? Yes, I do. Why? There are so many planets in the universe. So I think some planets have aliens with very advanced technology. A lot of people think that if there are millions and millions and even billions of planets in this universe, what are the chances there is just one with intelligence? And that one being ours. But some people don't. Some people believe this is it. We are the only intelligent beings in the universe. Let's listen to a conversation between Glug and Zork. You have to fill in the missing spaces.
Track 15. Do you believe in humans? You mean strange aliens with 2 arms and 2 legs? Yes, that's right. No, of course not. Well, I do, and I think they're intelligent. Where do you think they live? On Earth. On Earth? That's impossible. It's much too polluted. Yes, but where does the pollution come from? That's a mystery. But it certainly doesn't come from intelligent humans.
Ooh, this conversation is telling us that we're not very intelligent. Looking from an alien's perspective, do you believe in humans? Zork says, you mean strange aliens with 2 arms and 2 legs? Yes, that's right. No, of course not. But Glug says, well, I do, and I think they're intelligent. And Zork asks him, where do you think they live? On Earth. Now, Zork knows about Earth. On Earth? Ho, 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 ho. That's impossible. It's much too polluted. Glug says, yes, but where does the pollution come from? Zork says, that's a mystery, but it certainly doesn't come from intelligent humans. So I guess sometimes we're not all that intelligent. In the review section, we have some example answers. WH questions. What's a good time to call you? Between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the evening. Now, most people would shorten this. We don't need to use we don't need to use o'clock. If I said between 6 and 9 in the evening, you asked me what's a good time. So when I said, say, between 6 and 9, you assume 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So we don't actually have to use the word o'clock. What are you fed up with? We saw the expression fed up with, something you really don't like. I'm fed up with getting up early every day. Of course, during this semester, we're not fed up with getting up early every day, are we? What would you like to do tomorrow? I would like to go to school and study. What do you miss? I miss some of my old friends. I miss going to school. What subject do you think is too difficult? I think math is too difficult. And in section B, there are some puzzle sentences. you have to unscramble the words and make the sentence or question. Meet handsome could wish I prince I. I wish I could meet a handsome prince. He wants Sachiko to go parasailing by herself.